Well, the Me Too movement is in the forefront of the news these days, and for many parents, it's a discussion they are having with their children. Joining us now is licensed family therapist Kent Toussaint, and normally we take your questions, but the day of the Women's March, we wanted to talk about Me Too. So good morning. Thanks so much. So first off, how do we really talk with our daughters about dealing with sexual harassment and assault, and at what age should we really start talking about this?
It's a big question. I think we need to start talking to our daughters early and often, just like we would with our sons. I think we need to teach our daughters how to recognize their own dignity and their own self-respect, and we do that by modeling it for them, by treating them with respect, by respecting their feelings, their thoughts, giving them a voice in the family and what they feel. Not necessarily that we're always going to agree, because families don't always agree, but the feelings are important that we recognize them, and especially with authority, because we as parents are authority figures, but we need to be compassionate authority. We need to teach our kids to respect compassionate authority, not ultimate authority. Because that's what happens when you have, these adults who abuse children. They abuse that authority, and it takes away a child's agency, a child's ability to stand up for themselves. And if we haven't taught them how to do that, then we put them in a disadvantage.
And you did mention our sons, but we actually need to have two discussions with our sons. The first is what to do if they're a victim, and is there a different approach with boys than with girls?
I don't think so. I think it's the same approach, because it's the same outcome. Boys can be abused just like girls can. And boys also need to be taught to respect women, as women need to be taught to respect men as well. It goes both ways. I really think that boys need to be taught that if they are in a situation that is uncomfortable, that their parents are safe, teachers are safe, police officers are safe, someone is safe. There's a safe adult somewhere that they can go to, and that if they're feeling uncomfortable, they have a right to stand up for themselves. If they can't stand up to the perpetrator, at least go to another adult who can advocate for them.
And you mentioned teaching our sons to respect women, but is there a time when really we should start talking to them about how they treat girls?
I think it's as early as, hey, be nice to your sister, but also it's same thing, be nice to your brother as well. And do we model that, in the home? If there's a mother and father in that home, is there respect being displayed between the parents? That's the best way to teach empathy, is by example, not by our words, but by our actions as parents. And because kids won't necessarily listen to our words, but they'll follow what we do, and they'll follow how we say things, not just what we say.
And I know you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but many kids are ashamed to speak out about being a victim. How can we make sure that they understand that we do want to help, but we can't help if we don't know, and the importance of really talking to either parents or, as you mentioned, somebody who they trust?
That goes back to helping your child feel safe to talk about anything and everything. Talking about sex to our kids, we should talk about it early and often. As soon as they ask, where do babies come from? That's a great time to have a really frank and honest conversation with a 3-year-old. And when a 3-year-old, there's not this weight and this heaviness of sex and what that means. It's like talking about tying shoes. It's not that big of a deal to a 3-year-old. So if you're talking to a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, or a 5-year-old before they have those sexual thoughts and feelings already weighing on them, by the time they hit 13, 14, whatever it is, it's a common conversation that you can have. There may still be some discomfort, but they'll know it's safe.
Okay. All right, Kent. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Talking to my 3-year-old about sex, I'm not so sure. The stork story just doesn't work anymore, huh?
No.
All right. Thank you, Kent. Well, if you want your questions answered, send them to us by email. Just send it to cbs.com/ask Kent. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.